Grand Rising, this is your girl, Lady J. This is your Get Up and Win Monday. And I know that you got up winning and winning on purpose. Tell them why, Lady J, because baby, we don't bend. We come to win. Well, listen, I want to talk about spiritual rebirth / spiritual transformation. Now, listen, you may be going through it right now, or you may be going through it soon, or you're going through it and you don't know it. And sometimes we can misdiagnose what we may be going through. Let me give you an example of that. Just say like you had a bad migraine, right? And you're thinking of it as just being normal. You know, you have taken over-the-counter medicine. You've done all that you need to do to try to get rid of this migraine, but somehow this migraine doesn't go away. And now you say, you know what? I may need to go to the doctors, and maybe there's something else. And you go to the doctors and you find out that it was something else. So sometimes we can misdiagnose what we're going through, okay? All right? So that's what I mean when I say misdiagnose. But anyways, listen. You're going through a spiritual rebirth and spiritual transformation, almost like being born again by putting to death your old ways and beliefs. A rebirth is soul development and spiritual growth. It is not competition or trying to be better than anyone else. It is rediscovery of the person you are becoming, leaving your old self behind in order to experience the new you. When this happens, a sudden revelation will brew and help you to see the bigger picture. But in between time will be different challenges because you're entering to a new realm in the spirit realm, okay? Almost like moving to another country. It takes time to adapt to new surroundings that can sometimes be a breath of fresh air or will develop hard times trying to find your footing. Picture when you were a baby learning to crawl before you walk. Remember the first time you got saved. It seemed as if everything was falling into place, and then out of nowhere, it was as if hell had paid you a visit. But in reality, it was growth being established called growing pains. I believe that's the place that you are in this moment of growing. It's growing pains, right? This is what reinventing yourself looks like. As beautiful as we want it to look, you first have to go through the ugly stages before having an astounding ending. This is the need to trust in the process. You were chosen for this path. Your soul chose this mission and you agreed to the terms. You must walk through the fire in order to reach your peaceful, abundant valley. You accepted this journey with open arms. Okay? And we do. How many times we say, God, use us? Or God, I'm ready for what you have for me. And they say, be careful for what you ask for, but we do that. We say, God, we're ready for the journey. God, we're ready for this purpose. God, we're ready for whatever that we ask God for. And then when it's time, we tend to want to pull out. Because like, oh, I did ask for this, but I didn't know that this came with it. Okay? So again, you accepted this journey with open arms. You know, we must evolve. It's like growing out of your old clothes to fit into new ones. We all must grow from a place of experience in order to go to a higher place, not yet touched, but will fit your purpose. What I'm trying to say is that you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's what causes growth and sometimes pushes you to the edge of your faith. During this time, you're learning to lead with your soul, not your ego. Listen, I watched the Olympics, the men's 100-meter run, which, by the way, had me on the edge of my seat. What a finish from Noah Niles, who finished strong and became the gold medalist. As a matter of fact, more than that, he became the fastest man on planet Earth. But he tells a story about having severe asthma all his life, spending most of his days in the hospital, fighting his way forward for a dream that one day he will become the fastest runner in history. What looked impossible is what drove him to the finish line, pulling off what he fought most of his life for. Now became the fastest runner in the world, not because he deserved it, but because he never gave up. Instead, he changed his faith that landed him in first place. A dream come true. He persevered and came out with the gold. He understood the sacrifice he had to be made. Again, he understood the sacrifices that had to be made. He knew the risks and knew the route he needed to take. He already knew his assignment and shocked the world, not only with his presence, but with his story that became the main topic to how he reached this milestone of many more ahead, and that this would not be his last time they call his name or see his face. This was just the beginning of his faith and hope that would skyrocket him into destiny. What no one else did was connect with the divine who gave him the strength to achieve and transform his reality. What I'm trying to say is that everything I just said is pretty much what he went through. He never allowed doubt to enter the room. He kept the faith even when he didn't know how it was going to play out. He still persevered. He understood his assignment. And some of us, we will pull out when it gets too hot, when it gets too hard, and then make a whole lot of excuses. But he didn't have, and he wouldn't allow excuses to get in the way of his destiny. And I'm here to tell you, this is not the time to allow your excuses to get in the way of what God has called you to. And sometimes we have to be allowed or allow ourselves to go through what we have to go through to get to what we always dreamed of. And I don't want you to forget this, because that was encouraging to me. You would never know his story had not he told it. You would have thought that he'd been like this, that he never had no struggles. You would have thought that, that everything was smooth, that he didn't have no bump in the roads. But he showed us last night what it takes to get to the finish line. And not only break the red ribbon, but make history. And that's what God is doing to you. Sometimes you just want to get from, I just want to just, how can I use this for an example? We'll ask God to help us to get this great job, our dream job, and we'll stay there. We don't want nothing else. Our main goal was just to get to that dream job. But you were destined for more than just that dream job. And we're settled. And we won't aim higher. He didn't settle for mediocre. He didn't settle to just come in whatever place it was. He didn't settle. He wanted more than that. I want to become the fastest runner in the world. I want to break records and make history. Sometimes we just want the best. But don't want to become the greatest. Let that marinate in your spirit. This is your girl, your motivational life coach, Lady J. Until next time, peace.